Hey everyone, welcome back to the Marvel Rivals Breakdown. Today, we're diving into the Ultimate Hero tier list, where we'll rank all your favorite, and maybe not so favorite, heroes from S tier to D tier. Whether you're ready to wield the shield as Captain America or swing through the city as Spider-Man, we've got the inside scoop on who's hot and who's not. Buckle up, because it's gonna be a wild ride. Let's get into it. Starting off strong with Loki. This trickster is a beast with his regeneration domain, making his team nearly unkillable. He's all about deception, with his doppelgangers making him a nightmare to pin down. But listen up, you gotta know how to use that ultimate. If you can't master the hero you're mimicking, Loki's power goes to waste. But if you do, look out. He's an S-tier MVP. Loki's a game-changer, no doubt about it. But now, let's talk about another powerhouse in the S-tier. Captain America. Cap is basically the team's shield. With great mobility and that iconic shield toss, he leads the charge with speed and health boosts for his team. But he's got a weakness against fast flyers, and can struggle when he faces heavy-hitting vanguards like Groot. Still, Cap's a total boss for aggressive plays, earning him a solid spot in S tier. Hold on to your Asgardian helmets, because Thor is here to claim his spot at the top. This god of thunder is an absolute beast, folks. Thor brings crazy damage with Mjolnir and his storm-based abilities, letting him deal massive AoE damage that can wipe out the competition. His ultimate? Don't even get me started. It can obliterate enemies and give him godlike tanking abilities. If you're looking to turn the tide of a battle, Thor's the guy you want. Welcome to S tier, Thunder God. Next up is Penny Parker. She's the defensive queen, with drones that make the battlefield hell for the enemy. Those webs, they'll trap you in a heartbeat. But here's the catch. If the enemy can break through her defenses or catch her off guard, she's not quite as effective. Still, on the right map, she can absolutely wreck the enemy team. A tier for sure. Now, let's talk about Iron Man. Iron Man is up in the air, dealing insane damage from a safe distance. He's got some great mobility with hypervelocity and can melt squishy heroes with his armor's insane power. But here's the rub. His ultimate? It's tough to land with all that warning. You need great coordination to make it work. But if you can line up those shots, Iron Man's a game changer, bringing a ton of firepower to the table. That's why he's firmly planted in A tier. And now, let's talk about the ever-powerful Storm. Storm isn't just a weather girl, she's a force of nature. She can summon lightning, create windstorms, and deal AoE damage that shreds enemies in a flash. Her mobility makes her a terror in the air, and her ultimate has the potential to completely wipe out a clustered enemy team. The only downside? If you're not careful, her range can leave you vulnerable. But when Storm is on the field, you'd better watch out. A tier. Easy. All right, moving on to Spider-Man. The friendly neighborhood Spider-Man might be awesome on paper, but here's the thing. He relies a lot on his teammates to follow up on his actions. If they're not in sync, his crowd control doesn't hit as hard. It's a high-skill ceiling, so if you can master Spidey, he can absolutely be a game-changer. B tier, though, because he's hard to carry alone. Now, we have Iron Fist. He used to be a lot scarier back in the day, diving in and wrecking strategists. But after healing buffs, he's lost some of that impact. Iron Fist is still a solid pick for aggressive players, but now you need a bit more thought before diving in. Still, B tier is a safe spot for him. Next up, we've got Rocket. This little guy's a whole lot of trouble in a tiny package. With his gunplay and mobility, he can outmaneuver the best of them. His ultimate, a massive damage-dealing move, can surprise opponents and secure kills, but he's a glass cannon. Too much damage and rockets out of the fight fast. He's solid in B tier, but definitely better in the right hands. And Groot! Don't let that tree-like exterior fool you. Groot's got some serious tank potential. His ultimate creates a massive shield and can crowd control enemies, but he's not the fastest or most mobile hero. In B tier, Groot's a great front line for your team, but like Rocket, he's not as versatile as some of the others. Now, let's dive into Doctor Strange. The Sorcerer Supreme is all about magical versatility. His abilities can control the flow of the fight, using the power of the mystic arts to manipulate enemies and protect his team. His ultimate, the Vishanti's Blessing, can turn the tide of battle with powerful healing and buffs. But here's the kicker. He's a little squishy and depends heavily on positioning. If you can keep him safe, though, his abilities make him an amazing support pick for the team. That's why he lands in the A tier. Now we're in C tier. Let's start with Squirrel Girl. Look, she's got that awesome squirrel blockade, trapping enemies and making them vulnerable. And her mobility lets her escape tricky situations. But here's the thing. Her ultimate, the Squirrel Tsunami, used to be a game changer. But with the health nerf this season, it's a lot easier to dodge. If you're not in the right position, she doesn't bring enough damage to make up for it. Next up, Invisible Woman. She's got invisibility and can protect her team. But here's the problem. She lacks serious offensive punch compared to other duelists. Sure, she's a solid support pick, but she just can't compete with the heavy hitters in the game right now. C tier for Invisible Woman. Let's bring in Moon Knight. Moon Knight's all about versatility, with multiple playstyles depending on which identity he's using. He's got great mobility and damage, but here's the issue. If you're not switching between his identities at the right time, his effectiveness drops. He's solid, but he's tough to master. He's in C tier, but with a bit of practice, he can definitely rise. Now, let's talk about Wolverine. Wolverine's tough, no doubt about it. He's got healing, damage, and mobility, making him one of the best for long engagements. But right now, he's not quite cutting through the competition like he used to. Other duelists like Storm are just outpacing him in terms of raw damage and versatility. Still, a solid B-tier pick if you're a Wolverine fan. All right, now we're at the bottom of the barrel, D tier. These heroes just aren't cutting it right now. Let's start with Jeff the Land Shark. The cute little land shark got a nerf to his ultimate this season, making him less of a terror on the battlefield. Sure, he's got healing, but there's not much else to him. He needs something extra to make him viable. Right now, he's stuck in D tier. And lastly, Mr. Fantastic. Oh, Reed Richards, what happened, man? You've got the flexibility to tank damage and deal a little bit yourself, but you're basically a jack of all trades with no real identity. Other heroes just do your job better. He's tough to justify picking when there are so many other solid choices. Sorry, Mr. Fantastic. You're D tier. Phew, what a wild ride through the ranks of Marvel Rivals heroes. But we're just getting started, folks. We've only scratched the surface of who's dominating the battlefield and who's struggling to keep up. In the next episode, we'll dive deep into the C tier and D tier heroes, those who just don't have the power or utility to make an impact in the current meta. But hey, maybe they have some hidden potential, right? Who knows? You'll have to tune in to find out. So if you want to see who's sitting at the very bottom of the tier list, And if they can be salvaged, make sure you don't miss episode 2. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you're loving these breakdowns, and drop a comment below telling me who you think deserves a higher spot. Until then, keep your shields up, your webs swinging, and remember, this is just the beginning. Catch you in the next one.